Hello, and welcome to Next Move Technologies. My name is Adam, and today I'll be showing you how to automatically scan for and peak a radio link using a Next Move Technologies link-align antenna positioner. This video builds on the previous videos in the series, so if you haven't been following along, make sure to watch the first video in our series to see how to set up a Next Move positioner. Every Next Move antenna positioner natively features the ability to use radio RSSI, receive signal strength indicator values from a radio connected to the positioner's local network, to scan the area surrounding the positioner for a potential radio link. This feature is known as auto-peaking, and can be found in the positioner GUI on the left side of the screen, in a panel labeled auto-peak. Before you are able to use the auto-peaking features in the GUI, it is first necessary to ensure that the positioner's local area network is configured correctly. Make sure the positioner and the radio are on the same local network. Here we're using a wired network with a network switch to allow communication between the positioner, the radio, and the controlling computer. Make sure that there are no IP conflicts on the network, which means not only that the IP addresses for the positioner, radio, and controlling computer be different, but also that the IP addresses of the remote radio, remote positioner, and remote host computer, if connected, and any other devices on the network are all different. To change the IP address of a Next Move positioner, see our video on positioner GUI settings. With the network configured, the next step is to tell the positioner the specifics of the radio that it is attached to. To do this, click the Settings button in the GUI, and a window will appear entitled Auto Peak Settings. Under Radio Settings, make sure the connection type is Ethernet, and specify the make and local IP address of the attached radio. Then, under NMT settings, type in the radio's object ID and set the community string to public, all lowercase. Click Save and Close, and the green connected LED will turn green. The positioner is now ready to scan. To execute a basic scan and peak, where the positioner will map out the RF intensity around itself and then peak to the highest recorded RSSI, click Scan and Peak. If the positioner is already facing the other end of a radio link and sub-signal is being detected by the local radio, you can simply click the Peak Only, and the positioner will fine-tune the radio link without performing a scan. It is also possible to view the RF data points as the positioner records by clicking the Heat Map button. During a scan or peak, the positioner will display the position and intensity of a radio signal, creating an RF image of the surrounding area. In this window, you can zoom in and out using the scroll wheel to see more or less of the image. You can also begin a scan inside the window, or save data from a scan in a CSV format by clicking Download CSV. To execute more complex custom scans, open the Auto Peak Settings menu and go to the Scan Peak Settings section. The user can specify the width of a desired scan in degrees, which constrains both the azimuth and elevation axes if applicable to the scan type. The user can also specify the step sizes for both the azimuth and elevation axes, independently during a scan, as well as during the peaking process. The user can also specify the beam width of the attached antenna and the dwell time during scanning and peaking. Dwell time is the amount of time a positioner will record RF data in a given position before saving an RSSI value and moving to the next position. In addition to specifying the movement of the positioner during scanning and peaking, the user can also specify the type of scan and can enable side lobe checking, which tells the positioner to check if it is peaking on a side lobe of the antenna beam. It is possible that the positioner may peak on a side lobe of the antenna beam, which reduces the signal strength and integrity of the radio link. To make sure the positioner is peaking on the main lobe of the beam, click Side Lobe Check and enter the antenna beam width for the radio being used. The positioner will then move in all directions to check for a stronger signal. If it finds a significantly stronger signal, it will move to that location and repeat the peaking process. By default, Next Move positioners use what is known as a cochlear scan pattern, in which the positioner scans in both azimuth and elevation. A cochlear scan begins in the center of the scan field and spirals outwards, moving by the specified scan step size in the settings menu, until it has covered the entire scan field. The positioner can also complete an azimuth-only scan, in which the positioner will maintain a constant elevation and only move in the azimuth axis. Additionally, the user can opt not to complete a scan when the Scan and Peak button is pressed by clicking Peak Only. Next Move positioners also offer the ability to enable what is known as threshold repeaking, in which the positioner will begin the repeaking process for an attached radio link automatically, if the RSSI drops below a specified value. This is useful for applications in which the positioner may be moving slightly over the course of its deployment, such as on a cell tower during the day. The positioner will begin the repeaking process once the signal drops below the specified start RSSI value, and will terminate once the RSSI of the radio link reaches a value above the stop threshold. To enable threshold repeaking, click the Threshold Repeaking checkbox. If both sides of the radio link have an attached next move antenna positioner, and both have a threshold repeaking enabled, it is necessary to specify when each positioner will repeak when the other side of the radio link is stationary. To do this, set how long each side of the radio link will need to repeak its side of the link in the time block dropdown, and give each side of the link an opposite diversity. This means that every 5 minutes the positioners will alternate in repeaking the link until each side is above the user set RSSI start level. It is important that both sides have the same time block duration, so that both sides will not move at the same time. If one side of the link has a next move antenna positioner and the other side is stationary, give the positioner a diversity of both to allow it to repeak whenever the radio link drops below the start threshold. This video is part of a comprehensive video series detailing how to operate a next move positioner. To learn more, check out the next video in the series or visit our website at www.nextmovetech.com. Happy positioning!